A warm good afternoon to all the participants of today's webinar on the topic Refugee Crisis Past and Present. I am Dr. Shruti Joshi, Assistant Professor, Vivekanand College, Kolhapur. First of all, I wish to thank the organizers of today's webinar, respected Principal Dr. Dekre sir of Rajaram Rao Mahavidyalaya, Jat, the IQC coordinator, and Professor Bansode for giving me a chance to present my views on this topic. My talk today will be focused on the new literatures in English, which we will refer to as refugee literature or literature of the migrants or migration literature, which focuses on these themes of rootlessness, displacement, um, homesickness, or the sense of belonging, which is the theme of refugee life in the present and past. At the very outset, let us first try to understand the different overlapping terms. A refugee is a person forced to leave his own environment, own country, to escape the threats to his or her life. An asylum seeker is no doubt a refugee in the sense of leaving the homeland. However, the host country has not yet legalized his or her refugee status. An internally displaced person also has to leave behind his or her native place but does not cross international border and migrates to other region within the same country. And lastly, a stateless person belongs to no nation and is denied any basic rights. The United Nations 1951 Refugee Convention defines the term refugee as this. A refugee is a person who, owing to a well founded fear of being persecuted for reasons of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion, is outside the country of his nationality and is unable to, or owing to such fear, is unwilling to avail himself of the protection of that country. A refugee crisis refers to the difficulties and dangerous situations in the reception of large groups of migrants. Such crises can occur within the country while attempting to leave, or while on the move to a safe country, or after arrival in a country of asylum. A crisis can be considered from the perspective of the forcibly displaced persons, or from the perspective of the receiving state, or from the perspective of both. Today, the world is witnessing the highest levels of human displacement in the whole human history. These statistics, according to the United States High Commission for Refugees 2019 report, shows that 70.8 million people were forcibly displaced across the world, of which 41.3 million were internally displaced, 3.5 million were asylum seekers, and 25.9 million were refugees. 80% of refugees move to neighboring countries. 148 countries are mandated to provide legal asylum to certain number of refugees each year. Countries like the United States, Sweden, the Netherlands, Italy, Australia, France, Canada, Spain, United Kingdom, Germany are the top 10 countries that provide shelter to the displaced people from countries like Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Afghanistan, Sudan, Somalia, Uganda, Libya, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Venezuela, Cuba, and Romania. Here we can see that the biggest displacement of communities took place during the World War II in across Europe. Indian partition also saw mass exodus of refugees across the newly created borderline. In the modern age, the Syrian civil war victims are the biggest number of refugees crossing the international borders every day. These displaced people either migrate to the neighboring countries or to the affluent lands or the United Nations commissioned countries. They undertake three main migration routes: the eastern, the central, and the western. They either travel by land or in crewed or overcrowded boats, risking their lives, and cross the Mediterranean seas. For example, the Vietnamese refugees in 1970s, called the boat people, recently Refugees from Cuba, Sudan, Syria, Libya traveling in boats have been controversially presented in media. In hope of escaping a traumatic life, these people are forced to use any available means and they risk their lives. Human migrations are not new, and the history of migration goes back to the antiquity till Hebrews. For ages, humans have moved their homes to escape natural disasters like famine, floods, persecutions, and wars. Sometimes these migrations are voluntary, but more often, people are forced to move in great risks. The last century saw millions of people migrate across this planet. The two world wars created the greatest impetus for the waves of international refugees. New international laws, conventions, and guidelines were created to protect the lives and basic human rights of refugees. During the Second World War, millions of Jews attempted to escape anti Semitic persecution. By 1945, 40 million Jews were forcibly displaced, deported, and resettled elsewhere in Europe. The normal lives of ordinary people are put to risk in their countries due to wars, conflicts, political and communal persecution, discrimination, economic hardships, environmental disasters, and even gender biased violence. They are left with no other choice to flee and leave their country to seek a safe haven. This means leaving behind everything belonging to them. This is one of the hardest decisions a person can take. Once they leave, they cannot return to the homeland due to the ongoing conflict. They are at risk of being jailed or harmed physically and mentally. Refugees have to flee with nothing more than their clothes. They leave behind everything belonging to their normal everyday life. They lose their home, savings, career, even their families. Their journey to a safer world can be long and full of hazards and dangers, during which they may get hurt, and sadly, many lose their lives on the way to hope. All of this can cause severe trauma. Fortunately, there are laws and legal apparatus protecting refugees. According to the UN Convention, refugees cannot be sent back to their countries if they are at risk. Countries have a legal obligation to let refugees in and provide protection to them. But even in a safe country, life as a refugee can be very hard. First, they continue to deal with the trauma of being separated from their loved ones. Then, there are challenges in adapting with the new environment and culture. The host countries may provide them facilities to learn the native language and employment skills and help them adapt to cultural and other differences. Yet, the process of assimilation is not that easy. Some refugees may return to their countries if the situation there is safe enough. Others may remain and integrate in the host country and make a successful life for themselves. They can eventually become the citizens of the asylum giving country. However, this process may take many years. The refugee status may be temporary as the support given to them can be taken back after a while. For then their future is uncertain. The refugee camps are closed and inhabitants are repatriated to their original nations and distributed across the world. Many times asylum giving process takes a long time, even many years. So the refugee status is extended to generations. Sometimes refugees are forcibly prevented from landing the destination countries. They are detained in the refugee camps until legal documentations are cleared. During this time, they suffer from undignified, violent, absurd living conditions. In many cases, they are sent back to their own countries. Once accepted as refugees in the host country, the suffering may differ. They may have to face domestic violence, racial discrimination, and even gender based violence as suffered by LGBTQ communities. Distinction is created between good and criminal refugees. The denial of support systems and unequal power dynamics in the nation of asylum results in dehumanizing attitude towards the refugees and migrants. Scholars have been thinking and criticizing the refugee problems and the call for the future of refugees. While focusing on how these communities think about their past, present, and future, a narrative of victim has been established. Ian Le Espiritu and Kataria are the prominent critics related to refugee literature. Ian Le Espiritu is a Vietnamese American critic and philosopher who has published her work based on Asian American pan ethnicity, gender and migration, and US colonialism and wars in Asia. She is founding member of the Critical Refugee Studies Collective, which aims at integrating scholarly material based on the everyday experiences of refugees. Body Counts and Homebound are the famous critical works by Espiritu. Kataria is known for the coinage of term refugiitude. She works on access and education of racialized minorities in American public schools. Her works, Southeast Asian Migration and Remembering Violence and the Violence of Remembering, focus on conflict and post conflict studies and genocide studies. Since ancient times, works about refugees and migrants are being produced. The Bible can be considered as the antique example with themes of forced migrant status. The book of Exodus is full of stories of dislocation and banishment. Virgil's Aeneid tells us about Aeneas fleeing the ancient war in the West Asia in search of safety. Some famous Middle Age writers were refugees themselves, and their works were expressions to their experiences of migration. The refugees route needs experimentation with forms, genres, and language in order to incorporate the devastating life experiences. Works like Moss by Art Spiegelman through graphic medium represents the pain of dislocation. Science fiction has always been stories of refugees fleeing from destroyed planets, wars, and ecological disasters. Post apocalyptic stories like Waterworld, Exodus, The Day After Tomorrow are also examples of such literature. Now, let us briefly discuss how, in the present day, refugee literature can be understood as a mirror of the displaced community's life. Being the literature written by and about the forced migrants, this literature becomes representation of loss and despair. It attacks the moral hypocrisy of the West and claims a respectable legal and political recognition and right to citizenship. The works depict traumatic events with an effect beyond temporality. The world wars, fanatic nationalisms, and local conflicts all over the world are the results of the failure of modern state. Refugees are the enduring testament of this failure, and the refugee literature represents this failure. These are some of the issues tackled in the literature of refugees. A renowned scholar in refugee literature, Lauren Gans, examines how multiple authors negotiate their own refugee status and work to imagine futures of their communities. They offer powerful testimony about the experience of displacement. Gans classifies the writings and group of work about refugiitude into four categories as documentation and mourning, the works complicating refugee status, which deal with legal complications. The third category is the ungrateful refugee, where the work refuses to be a good refugee by being grateful for having received asylum, and the works imagining the future. Now, let us briefly have a look at the famous works of some refugee writers. Rinaldo Arenas is a Cuban refugee poet, novelist, and playwright who fled the Cuban government of Fidel Castro. A movie based on his works, Before Night Falls, tells the story of Arenas' life through the words of his work and the images of Julian Schnabel's imagination. Schnabel the painter makes his screen a rich canvas of dream sequences, fragmented childhood memories, and the wild Cuban life lived by Arenas. Viet Thanh Nguyen wrote a story collection, The Refugees. These short stories are a captivating testament to the dreams and hardships of immigrants. They give a voice to the lives laid between two worlds, the adopted homeland and the country of birth. Javier Zamora is a Salvadoran American poet and activist who immigrated to US at the age of 9. The Unaccompanied is a collection of his poems based on his experiences as a 9-year-old traveling unaccompanied 4,000 miles across multiple borders from El Salvador to the United States to be reunited with his parents. This dramatic and hope filled poetry talks about the highly charged and polarized rhetoric of border crossing. It assesses borderland politics, race, and immigration at a personal level, and it also remembers and imagines a birth country that has been left behind. Edwidge Danticat is a Haitian American novelist and short story writer. In her award winning best selling fictional work, The Dew Breaker, the narration moves between Haiti in the 1960s and New York in the present day. The story is about an unusual man who has been keeping a very dangerous secret in a torturer in his homeland. It is a story of love, remorse, and hope, and of personal and political rebellions, and of the compromises we make to move beyond the most intimate brushes with history. Nam Le is a Vietnamese born Australian writer who has won Dylan Thomas Prize for his work. The Boat is a collection of fictional stories deeply moving. These stories take us from the slums of Colombia to the streets of Tehran, from a tiny fishing village in Australia to a foundering vessel in the South China Sea. Dino Mengistu is an Ethiopian American novelist and writer whose works are documentaries on the war of Darfur and the conflict in northern Uganda. The Beautiful Things That Heaven Bears is a novel written by Mengistu. It describes the streets of Washington, D.C. and Addis Ababa through the eyes of Sefa, who 17 years ago fled Ethiopia during the revolution and now runs a grocery store in a poor African American neighborhood in Washington. He realizes that his life has turned out completely different and far more isolated from the one he had imagined for himself years ago while fleeing his country. The novel critique on the American dream. Afterland is a powerful collection of poetry written by Mai Der Wong. It recounts with devastating detail the Hmong exodus from Laos and the fate of thousands of refugees seeking asylum. Mai Der Wang tells the story of her own family and provides an essential history of the Hmong culture's ongoing resistance in exile. Hassan Blasi is an Iraqi-born film director and writer who is currently a refugee in Finland. His work is a science fiction and poses a question to contemporary Iraqi writers. What might your home city look like in the year 2103, exactly 100 years after the disastrous American and British-led invasion of Iraq? Bao Phi, a Vietnamese American spoken word artist and writer and a community activist, has written Song I Sing. It is a collection of poems. In this strong and angry work of poetry, Bao Phi calls his work refugeography and attacks immigration, class, and race in America. He scowls at a culture in which Asians are invisible. The Vietnamese American novelist Viet Thanh Nguyen has written Nothing Ever Dies. Nothing is a searching exploration of the Vietnam War, a conflict that lives in the collective memory of both nations, Vietnam and the United States. According to Nguyen, all wars are fought twice, the first time on the battlefield and the second time in the memories of people. Behrouz Boochani is a Kurdish Iranian journalist, human rights defender, writer, and a film producer. His memoir, No Friends But the Mountains, writing from Manus prison, has won Victorian Prize for Literature. In 2019, Bhushan was illegally detained on Manus Island. He has been there ever since. His book is a voice of witness to his act of survival. It is a cry of existence. With this brief account of the new literatures in English, we come to the conclusion of today's talk. The refugee literature gives a harrowing voice to the unending journey of forcibly displaced communities. In today's age of huge migration, the troubled refugee lives meet xenophobia even in their lands of hope. For example, on 27 January 2017, the US President Donald Trump executed an order which indefinitely suspends the resettlement of Syrian refugees. It pauses the overall refugee settlement program and temporarily bars non-citizens from 7 Muslim majority nations from entering US. This prophesies the future torments of these homeless people. The refugee narratives can be summarized in the poems by Varsan Shire and Behrang Kodomni. I would like to end my talk with these two lines. No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. You only run for the border when you see the whole city running as well. I hope my attempt to have a glimpse of the refugee crisis and its depiction in the new literature in English has been satisfactory to the scholars attending this webinar. I have purposefully skipped the Holocaust and partition literature, which is also refugee literature, and I have focused on the present day works only. If the technical follies of this video has caused any inconvenience to the listeners, I beg their pardon. And finally, I thank the organizers once again for giving me this chance. Thank you.